Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Shantia here. So today we're back for another review of Married First Sight. This is for season 14, episode 3. So this is the continuation of the weddings. This is, I feel like, going to be a relatively short review because there isn't really much to say. It's been one day. For all of these couples, it's been one day. They've just gotten to know each other. There's not much to go from, and there's not even a lot of conflict to build. But for Alyssa and Chris, that might be a whole nother story. My quick summary was that it was a lot more entertaining. I actually enjoyed the interactions with the brides and the groom, with the families and the friends. I thought that was really fun. I enjoyed this episode more than I did the previous episode, and the after party gave some extra interesting details. Compared to Jamie's interviews, I feel like they're not as exciting. They're missing a little bit of a spark. They call it a cocktail hour, right? It's the after party cocktail hour. They should add the ingredients for the alcoholic beverages on TV instead of just talking about it. I don't know if they're not allowed to do that or they are allowed to do that, but I kind of feel like it's pointless just to say it and not display it. So that would be cool. Let's go ahead and talk about Jasmina and Michael because they had the least amount of, I feel like they had the least amount of footage to work from. Therefore, let's start with them first. So I feel like Jasmina and Michael do seem to have a good kind of chemistry going on. They seem to have good vibes, just like my shirt. They seem to have good vibes going on. They seem really relaxed together and natural together. I feel like they're presenting their most authentic self to one another. And of course, you're always presenting your best self for your first impression, but I get the vibe that they're just trying to be honest. They're trying to be themselves. They're trying to be chill. And Michael also mentioned that he wanted someone who he can be himself around. So that's great. Michael's sisters came up to Jasmina and they offered her a pin. I believe it was the breast cancer pin. So I thought that was a really sweet gesture for them to do for her. Michael, when he had a conversation with Jasmina's parents, talking about his intentions, he said that the vulnerability was the first thing that came out of his mouth. So again, that's like the thing he's the most concerned about. And his answer seems very sincere, very straightforward. Again, I do detect like a kind of quiet confidence from him, and it is coming through. He seems to be very much himself, and he seems very serious. Sometimes I feel like a little bit too serious, but he can joke with Jasmina. I just hope that at times she's not doing too much leading, nor so I want her to be the one who's trying to break the ice all the time. I feel like he seems a little just a little bit, but maybe as time goes on, he loosens up and he just allows himself to be. The one conflict that came up between Jasmina and Michael is the schedule. So he has like a crazy schedule. He brought it up because she was talking about being a pet lover. And he said, because she has, I believe, like the most adorable dog ever. He mentioned that he gets up at 4 a.m. and then he works until 7:30 p.m. And on Saturdays, he has like an off and on schedule. And her face was just kind of like, it didn't look so great. It could have been editing, but she didn't look too happy about that because the whole point of her signing up for this was to have a companion, to have someone to spend time with. Why sign up for a show if you don't have time for your wife? Right? I feel like that's probably the best time to sign up for something. It's like when you know you have time for a partner. However, in the real world, people, they do have crazy schedules. Okay, you've basically been handed a wife, right? You didn't have to do the initial dating to like seal the deal. However, you do have to still work to court her. So if you don't have time for a pet, how are you gonna make time for a wife, let alone a wife and kids? He's kind of still in his building stage. However, in the real world, I know this happens all the time and we have to find ways to adjust to our schedules. Is he going to make that space for her? Is he gonna make her a priority? Or is his career going to be the utmost priority in his life? Because she's your life partner, and you really have to work to create that relationship and build that relationship with her. Other than that, I have nothing to say. I wish the best for the both of them. Next couple we're going to move on to is Lindsay and Mark. I have the least kind of to say about them because they didn't have a lot of TV time either. What I really liked about this episode is that Mark caught on so quick, and I really think this is because of his dating experience. He's had a lot of dating experience. He's been out there. He knows what he wants, and I really got the vibe from him that he's ready, he's mature, he has what it takes to be there for his spouse. He knows the work that it takes to put into a relationship to make it work. So he called Lindsay a tough cookie. He picked that up. And in one of my previous reviews, someone mentioned in the comments, they talked about how Lindsay wears a mask. He picked that up really fast. He says, I know that you put off this, you act this way, you use comedy as a way to kind of keep people at bay. You've been hurt by people in the past, and people have left in the past. Therefore, I'm going to show you that I'm here to stay. And when you see that, you'll let your walls down and you'll stop being the silly class clown, and you'll start taking things more seriously. And I talked about that previously, and I said that she has to be inspired. Find someone who inspires her to just kind of tame those energies. When it comes to boundaries and rules, it just seems like she's a rule breaker. She doesn't have like proper boundaries around certain things. Ironically, her not having proper boundaries when it comes to what she says, it's the very thing that keeps up the boundaries. It's the very thing that keeps people away from her, from getting too close or seeing how vulnerable she is. So the first thing he said is he wanted to see the lovable side of her. Just want to see if she's willing to do the work to show him that and reveal that to him. Together, so far, they seem to be really enjoying each other's company and enjoying the jokes, and he is finding a way to handle her personality with grace. I give him props for that because he's joking about it, he's laughing about it. He's not at the point where he's turned off. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point he does get turned off by it. And especially when it comes to the men genitalia jokes, I would love it if she would just end those, because it's not funny anymore. You know, it's not funny. You know, once you do it 20 million times, it's not funny anymore. Moving on to Olajuwon and Katina. So because they got married in the previous episode, we didn't see as much screen time with the two of them. The two of them obviously have the physical chemistry down. I detected from just based off of the photo alone that they were going to be the fun kind of unpredictable couple, in a sense that he's kind of wild, right? He's got like a lot of wild energy, and she's kind of willing to like go and have fun. And I feel like I was just on point. Let me just give myself some credit for being on point with some of these couples, even before I got to hear them speak a word. But the two of them are vibing with each other, even though Olajuwon has this big personality. I think Katina has just decided to roll with it. All the couples pretty much mentioned, okay, I can see why we were matched together. So if she can see some awesome qualities in him, that's great. When Olajuwon was having a conversation with Katina's mother, I thought that was hilarious. The two of them, because he was just going on and on and on, talking about everything under the sun. He mentioned that he had ADHD, and that explains a lot. So now we kind of understand why he's all over the place when it comes to his emotions and his expressions, which I actually do enjoy. They're like a kid. You know, he's very expressive. I actually like that about people when they get very expressive. I think that's so fun because they inspire the kid in you when they do that. If they're childish, then that can be a turn off. So the ADHD explains a lot. He's on medication for it. He was honest about that. The one issue that came up again was the cooking. They joked about that. I say, you know, as far as cooking goes, if the two of you can't really cook, take cooking classes together. I think anyone can cook. It's not really whether people can cook or not. It's whether you can follow instructions. I would say watch videos. I watch videos and I read recipes. That's how I learned to cook. There's nothing like super magical. I would say like try even a meal prep kit where they even provide all the food for you and you can kind of learn how to cook along. They have videos, they have the display, the cards. There's ways for you to learn how to cook really fun and easy, or even hire a chef, have a fun date night and learn how to cook something. That can be something where they learn together. I really got the vibe that in some ways they were really compatible because they came from similar lifestyles. In some ways that's what's going to work in their favor because they'll be able to relate to one another. As far as maturity goes, that is yet to be seen from Olajuwon's side. I am getting intelligence. Like he said, he actually had the highest GPA on his football team. Again, I give myself points for that because I said there's an intelligence there. Not a lot of people have the ability to just communicate and use words so effortlessly. He's kind of poetic. Like that dude's a poet. So he's smart with words and he knows how to use them. I'm honestly very curious to see what's going to happen in the future episodes because it looks like he was the one who was willing to put his foot down as far as the commitment went, and maybe Katina was the one that we should be concerned about. I'm very curious to see how all of that is going to pan out. I feel like there was something else I wanted to mention about the two of them. Oh, when Katina was sitting down with Olajuwon's friends and family, they were talking about the need to be patient with him and describe things to him once, twice, thrice. I guess that's the ADHD. So that kind of makes sense if you do the math and you put all of that together. His attention span is everywhere. And, you know, they did that joke with, the mother-in-law did that joke with him where she was like, ooh, a rabbit, and then she walked away. I thought that was so cute. You never know. I think some of these couples can surprise us, but I think overall, most of our predictions are going to end up being correct. Moving on to Noi and Steve. Now, just as I thought, they were so cute. They were the one couple when she came out. They were the only couple, I think. When she came out, I was just like, I was grinning. I just felt love in the air. I felt, I don't know, giddiness, happiness, sunlight. Like it just felt so warm. And when the two of them connected, they were nervous, but they worked it out. I sensed that they were gonna be very genuine and real, down-to-earth people together. I'm happy to see the chemistry between the two of them building and the spark. I like all the jokes that were going on between the two of them about the ring pop. Both of them have siblings who have like, you know, crazy colored hairs. The attraction was definitely there. I don't know if it was fully there for Noi. I don't remember her saying that she was attracted to him, but I think she's somewhat attracted. He said he was definitely attracted to her. So I'm happy to hear about all of that. Noi was crying like at every little, when it came to the vowels. I thought it was just so sweet. I honestly think it's amazing when people have the ability to cry like that all the time, because I'm like a hesitant crier. I've always been like that. Like I will like but I'm like, oh, but people are around, so maybe I'll just cry later. Sometimes the waterworks do hit me and I'm just like, I can't stop them from coming, but she's definitely a crier, which I think is so sweet. What's really cool is that Steve's mom is also very sensitive and a crier. He's probably comfortable with that. Steve was a gentleman. She even complimented the ring that he put on her finger. She said it was pretty. I thought that was sweet. He went along with her tradition from her family. Laotian, I believe, is her background. I hope I'm saying that right. They seemed very relaxed together and they just seemed themselves. I thought the conversation that Steve had with Noi's brother was kind of awkward. You know, about the wedding night. Her brother also mentioned guys always chase her. Give him a little bit of a hard time. Let him know, like, this is my sis. Don't you mess with her because we're gonna come. I would probably do the same thing. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was also a clue because he said that she's usually the one who's chased. That means that she's usually the one who's probably chosen not to continue with relationships because maybe they haven't been all of what she wanted and she's seeking what she wants. I also think that goes to show how magnetic she is. And I think that's important for people to know. The difference between Noi or Alyssa's energy, it's like night and day. Like Noi she's very magnetic because she's very warm and feminine. There are certain kind of qualities that people naturally emanate that makes them very magnetic and attractive, where Alyssa is a lot more rigid. Need I say more? I think they're gonna do really well together. I'm sure she did, but I don't remember the conversation that she had with his family, if she did. I'm not sure if they showed it. I wish the best for the both of them. I think the two of them are gonna do pretty well together. They showed in the previews kind of some clips. Chemistry's gonna build. They're going to do just fine together. Moving on to Alyssa and Chris. Man, I can't believe I was right again about this one. I thought it was so funny because I'm like, oh, she seems kind of, and she was. She was. So, I mean, let's just jump straight into it. He wasn't her type. And her friends mentioned that he's not her usual type. She's used to being with like douchebags, a-holes, like mean guys who are rude and jerks. And then she goes around talking about Chris like, oh my god, his friend said he was condescending. I'm like, girl, no, please. She was making a mountain out of a molehill. She was just creating drama so that she could have an excuse to not be around him. Like a kid lying just so they can get their way. Unfortunately, that is just not a characteristic or a trait. That lack of integrity is just such a turnoff for me personally, for someone to be so dishonest to get their way. I'm like, just be honest, girl. You're not attracted to him. I rewatched the clip. I was trying to understand why she was so upset. No, she was just upset from the get-go. And he picked that up. At the after party, he talked about how she kept avoiding him. And he sensed that. During that conversation that she had with his friends, right, this misunderstanding, which wasn't really a misunderstanding, she knew exactly what they were saying. They were talking about how he likes to teach. That's why he can come off condescending sometimes, because he likes to teach. My dad's the same way. It annoys the heck out of me sometimes, but he's just like that. Let me show you how to do this, even though I've shown you a million times. I'm going to show you again. And it comes off a little condescending sometimes, but he means well. Producers were asking her, they're like, did he do anything to show you that he was that kind of person? She was just making up stuff. So automatically Alyssa is just like losing points in everybody's eyes. The editing was hilarious for the wedding. Like, I swear they were playing war music. It was like this dramatic, a war is about to break out or something's about to happen, and then she walked out by herself and she said that she didn't like a guy with snaggle teeth. And guess what? I had to look that up because I was like, what's snaggle teeth? Chris has snaggle teeth. The superficial stuff, focusing on the superficial so much. Why are you on the show? I don't think it's gonna work out between the two of them because of the fact that she just straight up lied. I don't know why she said kiss him. I don't know. Maybe it's so important for her to put on a face for people, for the audience. Her mother said that she was stubborn or a little stubborn. I'm like, no. She's more than a little. She's a lot of. She's not just a little stubborn. She's the type of person who needs to get her way and will by all means do whatever she needs to do to get her way. I feel bad for him, but you know, I think he does call her out in future episodes. They showed us a preview, so hey, good for him. Good for him to know it, for knowing what his worth is. And yeah, that sucks, but you know, people are not worth your time if they're gonna drag you through the mud like that. It's just like, end it. Be honest with me so that I can move on with my life. So that's my review for Married at First Sight. Told you guys it was gonna be short. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will be back next week for another review of Married at First Sight. I was thinking about splitting these videos into like individuals. I don't know. I was considering doing that possibly, and just doing like quick 5-minute videos where I talk about each couple. I don't know. I don't even know if YouTube would detect my videos if I presented it like that, but that's a possibility I'm thinking about. I would also love it if you guys like, subscribe, and make sure you comment down below. Share with me your comments about all the couples. If you have any comments about any of the couples so far. We really don't know that much, but sometimes you can pick up a lot from a first impression. All right. I hope you guys have a wonderful day or evening. Bye.